This is the consequence of your patience and tolerance. It backfires in your face. You try to avoid conflict and argument, just trying to be peaceful, thinking that it just makes the situation better. But what that really does is that tells these people it's okay. It incentivizes bad behavior. And as long as people don't continue to stand up for themselves in any situation, whether it's on the road, whether it's in a food court, whether it's at their job, there's going to be all these people who are going to behave like total assholes that you hate, that you go back to your family and post on Facebook about, oh my god, there was this guy who was so unpleasant today, he cut my queue. Hey everyone, how's it going? The sky is ugly, the construction noise is going crazy, and it is a Tuesday morning. Welcome to another episode of How You're Getting Effed. This is Corgi Lumpur, and today we're going to be talking about queue cutters. Again. It's funny how I posted a video about tolerance and patience yesterday, and this morning when I line up for breakfast at the food court, a queue cutter shows up in real life, not on the road. So the context was that we were getting some breakfast to go at this place that's usually really busy throughout the morning all the way till the afternoon, and there is usually a long ass line, as you can see in this photo. We were waiting in this line for a good 10-15 minutes when suddenly there's this old guy who shows up and starts saying that he was at the toilet and he needed to get back in his position in the line. And no one had seen this guy, so there was a lady behind us in the queue who was kind of confused where this guy just showed up from. He kept insisting that he had gone to the toilet for just a moment, so he needed to get back. This is where he was before he went to the toilet. And we were just confused. We had not seen this guy, right? And the lady behind us was also pretty hesitant to let him in because this guy just showed up out of nowhere. So as this guy is trying to get into the queue, he's a queue cutter, right? And he's just kind of skipping through the 20 people behind him, as you can see in this photo, and he's just mumbling like how he was at the toilet and it's so unfair because he left for just a few moments and he needed to get back to where he was in the line. And sure, I mean, you could kind of walk away and tell the person behind you or in front of you that you're just going to step away real quick and they can kind of hold the spot for you. But in the case of this guy, he wasn't even in the line. He was just trying to make up some bullshit and just trying to lie his way into cutting the queue. So this lady behind us kept saying that she had not seen him. She had been in the line for 10-15 minutes just like us, and we hadn't seen him too. So I started telling this guy off that he needed to get back to where the line actually begun, which was back there, right? So he can't just step in here, say that he went to the toilet and no one had seen him, everyone had been in the line for like the last 10-15 minutes, and proclaim himself as this person who's always been here all along. And that's when he started getting really fussy and saying that, oh, I was in this queue, I was here all along. And so this kind of went back and forth for a good 2-3 minutes or so before I just told him to get the fuck back to the back of the line where he actually should have been, instead of cutting everyone else's line. And he starts getting loud, I start getting loud. So here's the problem right here. The only people who were making a fuss at this point was the woman behind us that you can see right here in the blue shirt. And there was another woman who was just sitting down just off camera on the right who heard all of this and said she had not seen this guy at all. She had been eating there for a good amount of time and she had not seen this guy. So he's definitely trying to cut the queue. Here's the problem right here. You see this woman in red right here behind the queue cutter? She's probably the biggest coward out of the entire bunch of these people in this line. Sure, they might have heard the 100 decibels of yelling in the food court right behind here where this guy in the white shirt is. Maybe they couldn't hear clearly what exactly the problem was, but this woman definitely heard it all, right? And it wasn't like she didn't understand the language. This argument first happened in Chinese and then transitioned over to English, right? So unless she speaks Hindi or something and doesn't understand anything else, she definitely understood what was going on. And this guy was clearly trying to get in front of her and she didn't stand up for herself. None of these people did. I dropped this shit at 100 decibels at this food court, so there was no mistake that there was something going on. As you can see, there's this whole line behind this queue cutter who just remained quiet the entire time. Not a single word was uttered by anyone in this line. And that is the exact problem that I just highlighted in the video yesterday. And it's funny enough that I was sitting on that video for the entire weekend. I chose to post it yesterday. And here we are today, the next freaking day, with a perfect example of why tolerance and patience is just going to make people do things over and over and over again. With just 3 people over here, me, the blue shirt lady, and the off-camera lady, telling this guy off, and no one in the back telling this guy off at all. What that's telling him is that that's okay. He's gonna do it again the next time. He's gonna go up to another long-ass queue and insert himself right near the front and proclaim that he went to the toilet for just a few moments. He's gonna do it again. Why? Because of the patience and tolerance. No one wanted to kick up a stink. Everyone was just looking and looking. And I wish I had a video of this, because this would have been the perfect ass video to show everyone on this channel the queue cutters that exist not just on the road, but off the road as well. Sadly, I don't wear a video camera or GoPro 24/7. I don't get paid enough for that. After today, I probably should do that. Maybe. And the reason why no one wanted to say anything is because there's this culture of not wanting to be in an argument. I don't want to disagree with someone and get in a fight. I don't want to be so pissed off that someone starts taking out their phone and starts filming me. And what if I appear on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube? What if I get my face on these viral Facebook posts that people start sharing? That would be such an embarrassment. Oh, what an embarrassment, standing up for yourself, right? That must be such an embarrassment, showing the whole world that you have a backbone to stand up for yourself against people who are doing you wrong. That must be a terrible thing indeed. That's a whole culture here that just breeds all these assholes that exist. If people started getting pissed off, and not just 1, not just 2, not just 3, maybe 5, 10 people started yelling at this guy to just get the fuck back to the start of the line where he belongs, we wouldn't have these people. If this happened all the time, people just shouting at these people who are being absolute assholes, they wouldn't dare do it at all. But here we are. This is the consequence of your patience and tolerance. It backfires in your face. You try to avoid conflict and argument, just trying to be peaceful, thinking that it just makes the situation better. But what that really does is that tells these people it's okay. It incentivizes bad behavior. And as long as people don't continue to stand up for themselves in any situation, whether it's on the road, whether it's in a food court, whether it's at their job, there's going to be all these people who are going to behave like total assholes that you hate, that you go back to your family and post on Facebook about, oh my god, there was this guy who was so unpleasant today, he cut my queue. Those are the people that you complain about, that you are breeding and encouraging. Don't you see the logic over here? A lot of people apparently can, because all these people over here, like I said, didn't make a single sound. In fact, look at this lady once again in the vid. She was avoiding eye contact with anyone during this entire time. She was just too afraid of standing up for herself. None of these people cared. And I clearly told all of these people too. So as I was telling this guy to line the fuck up, I was telling everybody in this line, you gotta stand up for yourselves. You gotta tell this guy to get back where he belongs. And no one did anything. If that person tried to cut in front of me, I would have made that stink an even more prolonged, bigger stink than it was. But since none of these people wanted to stand up for themselves, hey, I made my point. I'm not gonna be that person who's just gonna try to stand up for everyone when you all won't grow a fucking backbone. So the bottom line of this video is the same bottom line that I made in yesterday's video. If you haven't watched that video, I would encourage you to check it out. If you don't kick up a stink against people who are stepping on your toes, who are climbing on top of your head and taking a shit on you, they're not gonna change. They're just gonna do it over and over and over again, because there's no deterrent. No one's standing up for themselves. Everyone's just spineless. So what are they going to do to all these spineless people? They're not going to wake up one day and say, oh, I've been cutting queues for the longest time and maybe that's just wrong and I should stop doing it. They're going to do it again and again, They're going to do it wherever. They're not just going to do it in the food court. If this guy drives, he's going to do it on the road as well. Because no one's going to honk at him. No one's going to yell at him. There's no consequences. So that's it for today. I hope you learned something and see you all in the next video. Goodbye.